My name is Megan Anderson, 32 years old, and I was sitting alone at the table I had reserved for 6 at Giovanni's, the most upscale restaurant in town. The empty chairs mocked me as I fingered the edge of my senior VP business card, still warm from the printer. After 7 years of 60-hour work weeks, I had finally made it. My phone lit up with a message, and I felt a wave of relief. Finally, my family was on their way. I opened the text. "You're not exactly a priority right now," my mom wrote. "Before I tell you what happened next, let me know where you're watching from and hit that subscribe button if you've ever felt invisible to the people who should see you the most." Trust me, what I did next changed everything. Growing up with my younger brother Tyler was like living in his shadow, despite being 5 years older. From the beginning, our parents, Karen and Robert Anderson, made it clear who the star of the family was. When Tyler scored a goal in his Little League soccer game, they threw a party. When I made valedictorian, they said they were too busy to attend the ceremony. "Tyler just needs more attention," my mom would explain whenever I expressed feeling left out. "He struggles more than you do. You're naturally talented." But what they called natural talent was actually just hard work and determination. While Tyler spent his weekends playing video games and hanging out with friends, I was studying or working part-time jobs. By 16, I was saving for college, knowing my parents' financial priorities wouldn't include my education. "Megan, could you watch Tyler this weekend? Your father and I are taking a little trip to celebrate his promotion," my mother announced one Friday afternoon during my junior year of high school. I had to cancel my SAT prep course, losing the non-refundable fee. "Sure, Mom," I replied, swallowing my disappointment. It was always like this. I worked through high school, earning a partial scholarship to State University. Even with the scholarship, I worked 2 jobs to cover tuition and expenses. Meanwhile, Tyler dropped out of community college after 1 semester, claiming it wasn't for him. My parents nodded understandingly and let him move back home, rent-free. "He's finding himself," Dad explained when I questioned this decision during a rare visit home. "Not everyone has your drive, Megan." After graduating with honors in business administration, I landed an entry-level position at Wellington Corp., a growing technology firm. The starting salary wasn't much, but it offered potential for advancement. Within 2 years, I had received my first promotion to team leader. That same month, Tyler crashed his 3rd car. Without hesitation, my parents drained their savings to buy him a new one. When I suggested Tyler get a full-time job to pay for his own vehicle, my mother looked at me like I had suggested he climb Mount Everest barefoot. "He's not like you, Megan. He needs support." 3 years ago, everything changed when Dad had a heart attack. It was a wake-up call for the whole family, except not in the way you might expect. Dad survived, but the medical bills coupled with years of financial mismanagement meant they were about to lose the family home. The house I grew up in, where all our memories lived, was weeks away from foreclosure. "We don't know what to do," Mom sobbed over the phone. "The bank won't work with us anymore." Without hesitation, I stepped in. I had been saving for a down payment on my own place, but family comes first, right? I paid their 3 months of mortgage arrears and took over the monthly payments of $2,700. It stretched my budget to the breaking point, but I made it work. I took on consulting projects on weekends and evenings, sacrificing my personal life to keep my family afloat. "It's just until Dad gets back on his feet," Mom assured me. "We'll pay you back every penny." Dad did recover physically, but he scaled back to part-time work. My mortgage payments continued. Month after month, year after year. No one ever mentioned repayment again. It just became expected. Megan pays the mortgage. Megan handles the property taxes. Megan covers the homeowner's insurance. All the while, Tyler continued to live at home, bouncing between part-time jobs, never contributing more than token amounts for groceries. His room remained exactly as it had been in high school, trophies for participation proudly displayed on shelves my father had custom built. My small apartment, meanwhile, was furnished with second-hand items and sale finds. My dreams of homeownership grew more distant with each mortgage payment I made on my parents' house. When the director of operations position opened up at Wellington, I threw myself into the application process. The promotion would mean a substantial salary increase enough that I could potentially save for my own home while still helping my family. I worked tirelessly on the presentation, stayed late to impress the executives, and outperformed the external candidates by every metric. The day I got the call offering me the senior vice president position was the happiest of my professional life. The salary was even better than I'd hoped, and it came with stock options. I immediately called my parents. "Mom, I got the promotion. Senior VP of Operations." I practically shouted into the phone. "That's nice, dear," she replied, the TV audible in the background. "Tyler's thinking about going back to school. For marine biology, maybe?" I swallowed my disappointment at her lukewarm response. "I'd like to have a celebration dinner. My treat. This Friday at Giovanni's. I've already made the reservation for 6. You, Dad, Tyler, Aunt Debbie, and Uncle Jim. Is that okay?" There was a pause. "This Friday? Well, I suppose we can make it work. What time?" 7 o'clock. "It's a really big deal, Mom. The youngest SVP in company history." "We'll be there," she promised, her voice finally showing a hint of enthusiasm. "We're proud of you, you know." Those words carried me through the rest of the week. They were proud of me. They would be there. Finally, my achievements would be acknowledged, celebrated even. I made the reservation at Giovanni's, the restaurant where we'd celebrated Dad's 60th birthday, the restaurant that required a tie for male patrons and had a wine list thicker than some books I'd read. I wanted this to be special. The day of the dinner, I left work early to get my hair done for the first time in months. I bought a new dress, black with subtle gold threading, professional but celebratory. I wanted to look the part of the executive I had become. As I got ready in my apartment, I felt a buzz of anticipation. Tonight would be different. Tonight, I wouldn't be the reliable daughter who pays the bills and never asks for recognition. Tonight, I would be the guest of honor. Giovanni's was exactly as I remember, crystal chandeliers casting a warm glow over white tablecloths, the soft murmur of conversation punctuated by the occasional clink of fine china and crystal. The maitre d' smiled as I approached. "Good evening, madam. Do you have a reservation?" "Yes, Anderson, table for 6 at 7 o'clock. He consulted his tablet and nodded. Yes, Miss Anderson. Your table is ready. Will the rest of your party be arriving soon?" "They should be here any minute," I replied confidently. The maitre d' led me to a beautiful round table by the window, perfectly set for 6 people. A small, reserved card sat in the center. I thanked him and took my seat, placing my purse on the chair next to me. "Would you care for something to drink while you wait?" he asked. "I'll wait until everyone arrives for the champagne," I said with a smile. "We're celebrating." He nodded approvingly. "A special occasion?" "A promotion," I said, unable to keep the pride from my voice. "Senior Vice President." "Congratulations," he replied, seeming genuinely impressed. "I'll give you a few moments for your guests to arrive." I checked my watch, 6:58 p.m. They would be here any minute. My mother was usually punctual, especially for restaurant reservations. I scrolled through my phone, rereading congratulatory messages from colleagues and responding to a few work emails to pass the time. At 7:15, I glanced at the entrance each time the door opened, expecting to see my family walking in. Maybe there was traffic. I sent a quick text to my mother. "At Giovanni's. Table is ready when you arrive." No response. By 7:30, the waiter had returned twice to ask if I wanted to order. Both times, I assured him my party was just running late. "Family, you know how it is," I said with a forced laugh. He smiled sympathetically. At 7:45, the couple at the table next to mine was seated, served, and halfway through their entrees. They avoided eye contact, but I could feel their pitying glances when they thought I wasn't looking. At 8 o'clock, the waiter, "Would you like to order an appetizer while you wait?" he asked gently. My cheeks burned with embarrassment. "They must be stuck in traffic or something," I said, my voice sounding hollow even to my own ears. "Maybe just some bread and a glass of Pinot Noir for now." "Of course," he replied, and I was grateful for his professionalism. As I sipped my wine, my phone finally lit up with a message. "Mom." My heart leapt. They were on their way. There was a reasonable explanation. Everything would be fine. I opened the text. "You're not exactly a priority right now. Tyler's having a crisis. Maybe next weekend." I stared at the screen, reading and rereading those words. You're not exactly a priority right now. 6 years of mortgage payments. Thousands of dollars in medical bills. Countless times I dropped everything to help them. And I wasn't exactly a priority. I took a long sip of wine. My finger hovered over the button to call for an Uber to escape this public humiliation. But something stopped me. A voice inside, perhaps the voice of the newly minted senior V, said, "No. This is your celebration. They don't get to take this from you." I straightened my shoulders and caught Michael's eye. "I'd like to order now," I said, my voice steadier than I expected. "Of course," he replied. "Just you this evening?" "Yes," I said, meeting his gaze directly. "Just me." I ordered the truffle risotto, a Caesar salad, and another glass of wine. When Michael suggested the chef's special lobster tail, I added that too. Why not? This was supposed to be a celebration. As I ate, I forced myself to savor each bite, to appreciate the artistry of the food, the ambience of the restaurant. I deserved to be here. I had earned this moment, even if I was experiencing it alone. Between courses, I checked my phone again. No calls, no texts. No one was looking for me, wondering where I was, if I was okay. The realization settled like a stone in my stomach. When it came time for dessert, I ordered the most decadent option on the menu, a chocolate soufflé that required 20 minutes of preparation time. While I waited, I ordered a glass of dessert wine and tried to focus on the positive. I had achieved something remarkable. I was the youngest senior VP in company history. I had done that on my own, without family connections or advantages. The soufflé arrived, perfectly risen and accompanied by a small scoop of handmade vanilla bean ice cream. "Congratulations on your promotion," Michael said, having written the words in chocolate sauce around the edge of the plate. That small act of kindness from a stranger nearly broke me. I thanked him, my voice thick with emotion. When the bill came, I didn't flinch at the $1,980 total. 6 premium meals, fine wines, and the special occasion desserts I had ordered for everyone. I paid it without hesitation. I added a generous tip for Michael, who had salvaged my dignity from the wreckage of the evening. As I walked out of Giovanni's, head held high despite the hollow feeling in my chest, the maitre d' wished me a good evening. "I hope your celebration was enjoyable." "It was exactly what I needed," I replied, and was surprised to find it wasn't entirely a lie. The drive home was a blur. I kept the radio off, preferring the silence to any cheerful music or talk show banter. My mind cycled through the evening, each memory sharper and more painful than the last. The pitying looks, the text message, the empty chairs. I pulled into the parking lot of my apartment building and sat in my car for a moment, reluctant to go inside to my empty apartment. On impulse, I pulled out my phone and opened Instagram. I rarely checked social media these days, too busy working, too busy supporting everyone else, but something compelled me to look now. The first post in my feed was from my cousin Jessica. Posted just 30 minutes ago, the caption read, "Family night out for the real success story. So proud of this guy. Family first, proud cousins celebration." My fingers trembled as I swiped through the photos. My parents, smiling broadly at a table at Shoreline Grill, the casual seafood place near the lake. Tyler in the center of every shot, beaming. Aunt Debbie and Uncle Jim, the same aunt and uncle who were supposed to be at my dinner, raising glasses and a toast. Even my grandmother was there, rarely left the house these days due to her arthritis. The final photo showed Tyler standing proudly next to a jet ski on a trailer in the restaurant parking lot. The caption read, "The newest member of the Anderson family. Tyler's first major purchase. Lake life adulting win. A jet ski." They had all skipped my career milestone celebration for Tyler's jet ski purchase. I zoomed in on the timestamp, 7:13 p.m. While I was sitting alone at Giovanni's, checking my watch and making excuses to the waiter, they were all together, celebrating Tyler. I scrolled through the comments. "So proud of you, Tyler. Moving up in the world. Mom. That's my boy. Lake adventures await. Dad. Family supporting family. That's what it's all about. Aunt Debbie." My vision blurred with angry tears. I kept scrolling, masochistically absorbing every detail of their betrayal. There were more photos from other family members. Uncle Jim had posted a video of everyone cheering as Tyler mimicked riding the jet ski, making engine noises. My cousin Mark had shared a picture of the whole family group with the caption, "Anderson family values. Work hard, play hard, support each other. Congrats, Tyler, on the new toy. Support each other." The irony was almost laughable. I switched to my work email, needing anything to distract me from the knife twisting in my chest. There were dozens of congratulatory messages from colleagues about my promotion. "Megan, phenomenal news about the SVP role. So well deserved. The operations team is lucky to have you at the helm. Richard, CEO. Congratulations, Megan. Your dedication and brilliance continue to inspire us all. Looking forward to seeing where you take the department next. Sophia, CFO. No one deserves this more than you, Megan. Your hard work and innovative approach have transformed this company. Proud to call you my colleague and friend. James, Head of Product Development." The contrast was stark and painful. My work family people who had no obligation to care about me were celebrating my success. My actual family couldn't even be bothered to show up. I thought back to other milestones in my life. My college graduation, where my parents had left early because Tyler was in the school play that evening. My first promotion, which was overshadowed by Tyler getting his associate's degree after 6 years of on and off attendance. My 30th birthday, which my family had forgotten entirely because Tyler had broken up with his girlfriend that week and needed emotional support. It was a pattern so consistent I should have seen this coming. Why had I expected tonight to be any different? I scrolled back to Jessica's post and stared at the image of the jet ski. A suspicion formed in my mind. How had Tyler afforded this major purchase? He worked part-time at the sporting goods store, making barely above minimum wage. A new jet ski cost at least $8,000 to $10,000. I thought about the loan I had given him 3 months ago when he claimed his car needed urgent repairs. $2,000, which he had promised to pay back as soon as possible. I thought about the credit card I had added him to as an authorized user for emergencies only that consistently reached its limit. The pieces clicked into place. My money. He had used my money to buy the jet ski that was now more celebration-worthy than my career achievement. I finally got out of my car and walked to my apartment, a strange calm settling over me. Inside, I kicked off my heels and hung up my new dress, carefully removing the price tag I had left on in case I decided to return it. I wouldn't be returning it now. It was the dress I wore when I finally saw the truth. I opened my laptop and pulled up my banking record. The soft glow of my laptop illuminated my living room as I opened my financial tracking spreadsheet. I'd always been meticulous about my finances, a necessary habit when supporting not just yourself, but 4 additional adults to varying degrees. I created a new tab labeled Family Support and began to compile the data. First, the mortgage payments. $2,700 per month for 36 months. I typed the number into the cell and let Excel do the calculation. $97,200. Nearly $100,000 just in mortgage payments. But that was only the beginning. I pulled up my credit card statements from the past 3 years and began categorizing expenses. Dad's medical bills not covered by insurance, $14,350. Mom's car repairs and eventual replacement, $22,780. Property taxes on the family home, homeowner's insurance, $6,300. Family loans never repaid, $17,250. Tyler's emergencies, $8,900. Utilities during tight months, $4,320. The numbers kept growing as I dug deeper into my financial history. Birthday gifts, holiday presents, grocery deliveries when their fridge was empty, the family vacation I had funded last year as a gift for Dad's recovery. By the time I had compiled everything, the total stared back at me from the screen, $196,470. Nearly $200,000 in 3 years. Money that could have been a down payment on a beautiful home. Money that could have been invested for retirement. Money that could have given me the freedom to start my own business or take a sabbatical to travel. Instead, it had disappeared into the black hole of my family's endless needs, with not even a thank you dinner to show for it. I leaned back in my chair, stunned by the magnitude of the number. This wasn't just help during tough times. This was systematic exploitation of my success and generosity. I remembered conversation. "Megan, you're so good with money," Mom had said last Christmas when I gave them each generous gift cards. "We just never had your financial sense." "This is just temporary," Dad had assured me when I took over the mortgage. "Once I'm back on my feet, we'll make it right." "You're the only one I can turn to," Tyler had pleaded during his last emergency. "You know I'm good for it." Empty words. Empty promises. I opened another folder on my computer, this one containing scanned copies of the promissory notes I had naively asked family members to sign when lending larger amounts. Each one included repayment terms that had never been met. Each one represented trust betrayed. The most recent was Tyler's car repair loan from 3 months ago, $2,000 with a promised repayment plan of $200 per month for 10 months. Not a single payment had been made. Instead, he had bought a jet ski, a luxury item he didn't need and couldn't afford. I pulled up my online banking and navigated to the automatic payments section. There it was, Anderson Family Mortgage scheduled to withdraw $2,700 from my account on the 1st of every month, as it had for the past 3 years. My finger hovered over the mouse. Was I really considering this? Could I actually cancel the payment that kept a roof over my parents' heads? I thought about the empty chairs at Giovanni's. I thought about the text, "You're not exactly a priority right now." I thought about the celebration for Tyler's jet ski purchase, a purchase likely made with my money. The truth hit me like a physical blow. I had enabled this. By constantly coming to their rescue, by never demanding accountability, by accepting their dismissal of my achievements while celebrating Tyler's smallest steps, I had created this situation. It wasn't just about the money. It was about respect. It was about reciprocity. It was about being valued as more than just a convenient ATM. With a decisive click, I canceled the automatic payment. A warning message appeared. "Are you sure you want to cancel this recurring payment?" I clicked yes. I felt a momentary panic, quickly replaced by a sense of lightness. For the first time in years, that money would stay in my account. It would be used for my needs, my future, my security. But canceling the payment wasn't enough. My family needed to understand that things had changed, that I had changed. I printed out the spreadsheet detailing all the financial support I had provided. I printed the promissory notes with their unfulfilled repayment terms. I printed screenshots of Jessica's Instagram post celebrating Tyler's jet ski. Then I wrote a note on my company letterhead, my new title prominently displayed beneath my name. "For 3 years, I have prioritized your needs above my own. I have sacrificed my financial security to ensure yours. I have celebrated your successes while you have ignored mine. Last night made it clear where I stand in this family's priorities, so I'm adjusting mine accordingly. The mortgage payment due on the 1st has been canceled." Let him pay it. Megan. I paperclipped the note to the stack of financial documents. It was nearly midnight now, but I wasn't tired. I felt more awake, more clear-headed than I had in years. Tomorrow would be a new day. Tomorrow, I would start putting myself first. I woke before my alarm. I dressed in jeans and a casual sweater rather than my usual work attire. I had already emailed my assistant, Rachel, to let her know I would be taking a personal day me first in over 18 months. She had responded immediately. About time. Take care of yourself, boss. The stack of documents sat on my kitchen counter where I had left them. I picked them up, placed them carefully in a manila envelope, and wrote Anderson family on the front. It felt official, businesslike, appropriate for what was essentially the termination of a one-sided business arrangement. The drive to my parents' house took 20 minutes. It was just after 7 a.m. when I pulled into their driveway. Both my parents' cars were there, along with Tyler's beaten-up Honda with the bumper I had paid to replace last year. They would still be asleep. Perfect. I walked up to the front door of the house where I had grown up. The porch needed painting, and one of the steps creaked under my weight. Dad had been promising to fix it for years. I had offered to hire someone. He had insisted he would get to it. For a moment, I hesitated, envelope in hand. Was I being too harsh? Would this hurt them irreparably? Then I remembered sitting alone at that beautiful table at Giovanni's, making excuses to the waiter as time ticked by. I remembered the Instagram posts, the celebrations of Tyler's jet ski while I paid for a dinner no one attended. I slipped the envelope partially under the door, leaving enough exposed that it would be immediately visible when someone opened it. Then I took a deep breath, turned around, and walked back to my car without looking back. As I drove away, I switched my phone. Instead of going back to my apartment, I drove to the waterfront hotel downtown. I had never splurged on something like this for myself before, always saving, always being responsible. Today was different. I'd like a room, please, I told the receptionist. Something with a view, if possible. Certainly, ma'am. How many nights will you be staying? I hadn't thought that far ahead. Just one for now. I might extend. The room was beautiful, plush king-sized bed, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city skyline, a marble bathroom with a soaking tub. It cost more for one night than I typically allowed myself to spend on non-necessities in a month. Today, I didn't care. I ordered room service for breakfast: Belgian waffles with fresh berries, crispy bacon, freshly squeezed orange juice, and a pot of premium coffee. As I ate by the window, watching the city come to life below, I felt a strange mixture of guilt and liberation. My phone buzzed with a text from Rachel, the only person who could get through my do not disturb setting. Everything okay? The team sends their best. The flowers from the CEO just arrived at your office. Want me to have them sent somewhere? I smiled. My work family, acknowledging my achievement even in my absence. Everything's fine, I replied. Just taking some much-needed me time. Keep the flowers at the office, I'll enjoy them tomorrow. After breakfast, I drew a bath and soaked until my fingers pruned, something I hadn't done in years. Then I dressed and headed out. If this was to be a day of self-care, I was going to do it properly. I spent the morning at a spa, indulging in a massage, facial, and manicure. I bought myself a new handbag at a boutique I normally just window shopped at, and had lunch at a quiet cafe where I read a novel instead of work emails. By mid-afternoon, curiosity got the better of me. I found a bench in a small park and checked my phone. The notification screen was overwhelming. 27 missed calls from Mom. 19 missed calls from Dad. 15 missed calls from Tyler. 8 missed calls from Aunt Debbie. 6 missed calls from Uncle Jim. 4 missed calls from various cousins. 32 unread text messages. 14 new voicemails. I wasn't ready to deal with any of it yet. I put the phone back in my purse without reading the messages or listening to the voicemails. Instead, I called Rachel, my best friend since college and now my assistant at Wellington. She picked up immediately. Megan, How's your day off going? Are you actually relaxing, or are you secretly working from some hidden location? I laughed. Actual relaxation. Spa, shopping, the works. I even got a hotel room. Who are you, and what have you done with my workaholic friend? She teased, then her voice grew serious. Really though, is everything okay? This isn't like you. I hesitated, then decided to tell her everything: a promotion dinner, the empty chairs, the text message, the Instagram posts about Tyler's jet ski, the canceled mortgage payment, the envelope I'd left this morning. Wow, she said when I finished. Just, wow. Is it too much? I asked, suddenly uncertain. Am I overreacting? Are you kidding me? Rachel's voice rose. Megan, everyone has seen how your family treats you. We've all watched you bend over backward for them while they take you for granted. The only surprise here is that it took you this long to stand up for yourself. Everyone. I repeated, caught off guard. Yes, everyone. The girls from college, our friends from the tennis club, even people at work. We've all seen it. Remember your birthday last year when they all bailed on the dinner I organized? Or Christmas when you spent thousands on their gifts and got a coffee shop gift card in return? Or when you missed the company retreat because your mom had an emergency that turned out to be her wanting help rearranging the living room furniture? I winced at the memories. I didn't realize it was so obvious. Honey, it's been painful to watch. I'm proud of you for finally drawing a line. Her words strengthened my resolve. I just don't know what happens next. They're blowing up my phone. Let them, Rachel said firmly. Let them feel what it's like to need you for a change. Let them wonder if you'll respond. Let them worry that they've finally pushed too far. And then what? Then you set boundaries. Clear, firm boundaries. After talking with Rachel, I felt more confident in my decision. I spent the rest of the afternoon and evening in peaceful solitude, ordering room service for dinner and watching a movie I'd been wanting to see. Before going to bed, I composed a single text message and sent it to my mother, father, and Tyler in a group chat. I am safe and well. Then I turned off my phone completely and went to sleep in the luxurious hotel bed, free from the weight of expectations and obligations for the first time in years. I returned to my apartment the following evening, feeling refreshed and centered after my day of self-care. Before turning my phone back on, I made myself a cup of tea and sat at my kitchen table, preparing mentally for the onslaught I knew awaited me. When I finally powered up my phone, it took nearly a minute to process all the incoming notifications. The final tally was staggering: 82 missed calls, 67 text messages, 41 voicemails, and numerous social media notifications. I started with the text messages, scrolling through them chronologically to get a sense of how things had unfolded. The first ones, from early morning, were confused and demanding. Mom, 7:43 a.m. What is this envelope? Call me immediately. Dad, 7:47 a.m. Megan, what's going on? Your mother is upset. Tyler, 8:01 a.m. WTF sis? You can't just cancel payments without warning people. As the morning progressed, the tone shifted to anger. Mom, 9:22 a.m. I can't believe you would do this to your family. After all we've done for you. Dad, 9:40 a.m. This is completely irresponsible behavior. I raised you better than this. Tyler, 10:15 a.m. You're being a total bitch about this. It's not my fault you were working and missed family night. By afternoon, panic had set in. Mom, 1:33 p.m. The bank says we have 30 days before foreclosure proceedings start. Is that what you want? To see your family homeless. Dad, 2:17 p.m. Megan, please be reasonable. We can't come up with this kind of money on short notice. Tyler, 3:45 p.m. I can't believe you're doing this over a stupid dinner. Grow up. The evening messages showed the beginning of bargaining. Mom, 6:10 p.m. We're sorry if you felt left out. We can have another dinner for your promotion this weekend. Dad, 6:42 p.m. Let's talk about this like adults. I'm sure we can work something out. Tyler, 7:38 p.m., okay, I admit the jet ski was maybe not the best timing. But I can't return it now, it's registered and everything. My simple text about needing space had triggered another wave. Mom, 10:22 p.m. space? We're your family. Families don't need space from each other. Dad, 10:25 p.m. This isn't like you, Megan. We're worried about you. Tyler, 10:40 p.m. Great. Now Mom's crying herself to sleep. Hope you're happy. The voicemails followed a similar pattern, though hearing their voices me mother's tears, my father's stern disappointment, Tyler's entitled anger was more affecting than reading their words. I deleted most of them after listening to just a few seconds. Amidst the family messages were texts from extended family members, most taking my parents' side without knowing the full story. Uncle Jim, your parents are beside themselves. Whatever the problem is, family comes first. Cousin Jessica, I can't believe you're being so selfish. Your brother was just celebrating a milestone. But there were surprises too. A message from Aunt Debbie stood out. Megan, I saw your note. I've wondered for years when you would finally say enough. This family has taken advantage of your generosity for too long. I'm here when you're ready to talk. And one from my cousin Mark. Hey Meg, I don't know what's going on, but I know you wouldn't do something like this without good reason. If you need someone to listen without judging, I'm here. These unexpected allies gave me strength as I closed my messaging app and opened my email. There, among work correspondence, was an email from my father with the subject line, Financial Arrangements. Megan, it read, while we are deeply hurt by your actions, we recognize that we need to address the financial situation. Your mother and I propose the following repayment plan for the mortgage assistance you've provided. The email went on to outline a plan that would have them repaying me at $250 per month, a schedule that would take over 32 years to complete. There was no mention of the other nearly $100,000 I had given them over the years. No acknowledgement of missing my celebration dinner. No real recognition of the deeper issues at play. I closed the email without responding. They still didn't get it. The next morning, I returned to work, throwing myself into my new role. My colleagues were supportive and excited about the direction I planned to take the department. The flowers from the CEO brightened my office, and several team members stopped by to congratulate me in person. For the next week, I maintained radio silence with my family despite their continued attempts to contact me. The calls and texts gradually decreased in frequency, but increased in emotional manipulation. Dad's blood pressure is through the roof because of the stress you're causing. We might have to sell the house at a loss, and it will be your fault. I had to put the jet ski up for sale, but no one's offering a fair price. I remained firm in my silence, using the time to clarify what I wanted from these relationships moving forward. On the 8th day after leaving the envelope, I arrived home from work to find all three of them, Mom, Dad, and Tyler, sitting on the steps outside my apartment building. My mother jumped up when she saw me. Finally, we've been waiting for hours. I kept my expression neutral as I approached. I asked for space. It's been over a week, my father said, his tone incredulous. We're family. We don't do space. That's part of the problem, I replied calmly. I'm an adult who asked for a boundary to be respected, and you're all here ignoring my clearly stated wishes. Tyler scoffed. Oh, so now we need permission to see you? After everything you've done? I looked at him coolly. Yes, Tyler. After canceling the mortgage payments I've been making for 3 years, after tallying up nearly $200,000 in financial support I've provided this family, after being told I'm not exactly a priority. When you are all celebrating your jet ski purchase, I do expect my boundaries to be respected. My mother's face crumpled. We can explain about that night. I'd prefer not to have this conversation in the parking lot, I interrupted. If you want to talk, we can go inside. But I have conditions. Conditions, my father repeated, looking offended. Yes, I will be heard. I will not be interrupted. And if anyone raises their voice or becomes disrespectful, the conversation ends immediately. They exchanged glances, clearly taken aback by this new, assertive version of me. Fine, my father finally said. We can do that. I led them up to my apartment, my heart pounding but my resolve firm. It was time for an honest conversation, one that was long overdue. The four of us sat in my small living room, an uncomfortable silence hanging in the air. My mother perched on the edge of the couch, my father beside her with his arms crossed defensively. Tyler slouched in my reading chair, looking everywhere but at me. I remained standing, unwilling to physically lower myself in this critical moment. First, I want to be clear that my decision wasn't just about the dinner. It was about years of being taken for granted, years of one-sided support, years of my achievements being dismissed while Tyler's are celebrated. My mother opened her mouth to object, but my father placed a restraining hand on her arm, remembering my conditions. The dinner was just the breaking point, I continued. Do any of you have any idea how it felt to sit alone in that restaurant for hours, making excuses to the staff, only to find out you were all celebrating Tyler's jet ski purchase? A purchase likely made with money I provided. Tyler shifted uncomfortably. The jet ski was my money, he mumbled. Really? I raised an eyebrow. So you didn't use the $2,000 I gave you for emergency car repairs 3 months ago? Money you haven't repaid a cent of. His silence was answer enough. I've calculated exactly how much financial support I've provided this family over the past 3 years, I said, retrieving the spreadsheet I had printed. It totals $196,470. That includes the mortgage payments, Dad's medical bills, Mom's car, Tyler's emergencies, and countless other expenses. I handed the document to my father, whose face paled as he scanned the figures. My mother leaned over to look, her hand rising to cover her mouth. My God, my father whispered. I had no idea it was this much. That's part of the problem, I said. You had no idea because you never asked. You never kept track. You never treated it as real money that I earned through hard work and sacrifice. It was just there for the taking. We always intended to pay you back, my mother insisted, her voice small. Did you? Then why does Dad's email propose repaying just the mortgage amount over 32 years? What about the rest? And why has Tyler never repaid a single loan? Tyler sat up straighter, anger flashing across his face. Oh, so this is just about money to you? What happened to family helps family? Family helps family, I repeated. That's exactly right. But in this family, the help only flows one way from me to all of you. When was the last time any of you helped me? When was the last time you even acknowledged what I've accomplished? The silence that followed was deafening. I made senior vice president, I said quietly. The youngest in company history. I organized a celebration dinner and invited you all. Not only did you not show up, but you didn't even have the decency to cancel properly. Instead, I got a text saying I wasn't exactly a priority, while you celebrated Tyler buying a recreational vehicle. My mother had the grace to look ashamed. We didn't think. That's just it. You didn't think. You didn't think about me at all. My father cleared his throat. Megan, we're very proud of your accomplishments. We've always been proud of how successful you are. Proud enough to take my money, I said, but not proud enough to show up for me when it matters. The truth of this statement hung in the air between us. So what now? My father finally asked. Are you cutting us off completely? I shook my head. No, but things are going to change. I'm no longer paying the mortgage or any other family expenses. I'm no longer the family ATM. But how will we? My mother began. That's for you to figure out, I interrupted. Dad can return to full-time work. Mom can get a job. Tyler can contribute to household expenses instead of buying luxury items. You can downsize to a more affordable home. There are options that don't involve exploiting my success. Tyler stood up suddenly. This is bullshit. You can't just. I can, I said firmly. And I have. If you raise your voice again, this conversation is over. He glared at me but sat back down. I'm setting boundaries, I continued. I will not provide financial support anymore. I will not drop everything when called. I will not accept being an afterthought in this family. What about our relationship? My mother asked tearfully. Are you saying you don't want to see us anymore? I'm saying I want a healthy relationship based on mutual respect. I want my achievements to be acknowledged. I want to be treated as a daughter and sister, not a financial resource. A heavy silence fell over the room as my family absorbed my words. I never realized how one-sided things had become, my father finally said, his voice subdued. I got comfortable with you handling everything. We all did. It was easier to rely on you than to fix our own problems, my mother admitted. Tyler remained silent, arms crossed, but I could see he was listening. I love you all, I said, my voice softening slightly. But love without respect isn't enough. I deserve better than what this family has given me. My father nodded slowly. You're right, he said, surprising me. You deserve better. We've taken advantage of your generosity and success. I'm sorry, Megan. The simple apology, perhaps the first genuine one I'd received from him in years, brought unexpected tears to my eyes. What can we do? My mother asked. How do we make this right? Start by respecting my boundaries, I said. Accept that I'm not financially supporting the family anymore. Figure out a sustainable solution for your own finances. And maybe, just maybe, start celebrating my successes the way you celebrate Tyler's. Tyler finally spoke up. I'll sell the jet ski, he said grudgingly. It was a stupid purchase anyway. That's your decision, I replied. But if you do, use the money responsibly. We talked for another hour, working through practical matters and establishing new boundaries. There were moments of tension and old patterns trying to reassert themselves, but I remained firm. By the time they left, something had shifted. It wasn't fixed. Years of dysfunctional dynamics couldn't be resolved in one conversation, but it was a start. 3 months later, things had changed more than I could have imagined. My father had returned to full-time work. My mother had taken a part-time job at the local library, something she actually enjoyed. Tyler had sold the jet ski, used part of the money to repay me, and was working full-time for the first time in his adult life. They had downsized to a smaller house that they could afford on their own. It was an adjustment, but they were managing. More importantly, our relationships were slowly healing, built on a new foundation of mutual respect. The most surprising moment came when my family organized a belated promotion dinner for me. It wasn't at Giovanni's, they couldn't afford that, but at a modest local restaurant they could manage. Everyone showed up on time. There was a cake with "Congratulations, SVP Megan" written in icing. My father gave a speech about how proud he was of my accomplishments. Tyler had even bought me a gift, not expensive, but thoughtful. As I looked around the table at my family, flawed but trying, I realized the deepest lesson of this entire experience. True family support goes both ways. It's not about the money, the gifts, or even the grand gestures. It's about showing up. It's about acknowledging each other's victories and struggles. It's about respect. I had enabled their behavior for years by never demanding that respect, by accepting the crumbs of their attention while giving them everything. By finally standing up for myself, I had forced a long overdue reckoning that ultimately strengthened our family bonds. The road ahead wouldn't be perfect. Old habits die hard, and there would be slips and missteps. But we were on a new path now, one where I was valued not just for what I could provide, but for who I was. So, if you're watching this and something in my story resonates with you, ask yourself, are your relationships balanced? Are you giving more than you receive? Is your generosity appreciated or expected? Sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for yourself and for those you love is to set firm boundaries and stick to them. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've experienced something similar or have thoughts to share, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more real-life stories that might just help you navigate your own relationships. Remember, you deserve to be a priority in the lives of those you prioritize. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next video.